Hello everybody, my name's Vic Gilgis and I'm here to do another podcast with you. It's episode 47, You Can't Get It Wrong. And I do these podcasts to help you with your well-being and also to help myself with my well-being. So I think this is real, good podcast. By the end of this podcast, you should be skipping around, as I say, the lounge, happily singing to yourself because of what's going to be, what is on offer here. Now, Sydney Banks, and I mentioned this before, showed us revealed to us what the three principles are: mind, consciousness and thought, and that they come from source. They are formless. We have it within us. They're formless. The gift of thought is formless. The gift of awareness, our consciousness, is formless, and the gift of mind is divine. It's our life energy that comes through us. So there is no separation because we all have this gift common across I don't know how many is on the planet, 8 billion of us are all built the same because of this way in which we tick. We all have our highs and we all have our lows. Nobody is exempt from that because of our thinking. And that is a two-edged sword. We can write symphonies or we can create wars. And it is really, that's what we do, or choose to do differently. And because the system is perfect, in other words, when we have feelings because of our thoughts, and we get to know through that tap on the shoulder when things are wrong, even though we may be doing wrong. And in that sense, the system is self-writing. It's self-writing anyway, because when we're on our backside in life and we don't know what to think about next or what to do, then this brain box here, in effect, just goes quiet and gives in. Because it's tried everything. The ego's tried everything. Our character's tried everything. And when that situation happens, when we're, as I've said, on our backside in the ring in life, then what comes to our rescue always is our common sense, our nature. The three principles guides us because we are guided by source, our mind, consciousness, and thought. So. This is, in a way, freedom from the burden of mucking up life because we just can't get it wrong. In a sense, our personality, our character, not being us because we were given that. We were conditioned like that. We cannot, in effect, accept that or should accept that because it's not us. And because it's not us and we didn't do it in the first place, it was imposed upon us, then there is no burden on us. It is what happens. And in that sense, when life kicks us on the backside, then we need to accept that because that's what we know life can do, because that's who we are. And it enables us to lead a lighter life in a way because we can take those blows because we know that's the way it goes, but we know there is always the fact that backing us up is our divinity of mind, consciousness and thought, which knows what to do. So because of that, we can really look in awe at the whole system. So when we go away from being impressed by this, we can just look at the beauty. Or when we forget about this, we can go back, and when we notice the beauty of what we've got, within us, that's where the O is, and we are in awe of that because of what it can do and what it gives us. And when we shift away from our brain's function, then that leaves room for insights to come through, and it comes through from that formless area that I've mentioned. The intellect always wants to lock things down naturally. It wants to define things. It wants to put labels on things. That can imprison us. It can help us be clever, but it can shut us down because there is more to be known. There is more to be seen. That's wherein lies the O. So that's where we get sights from within, when we shift across from that to the space before. Our mind, our formless mind, consciousness and thought. And there was a book out in June last year, 2025, and it's called The Brain at Rest: Why Doing Nothing Can Change Your Life, by Dr. Joseph Gibelli. It's a Penguin publication. And so I've only looked at aspects of that book, so in other words, briefly. But what it is saying is that when you give the brain a rest, and this is the neuroscience coming through, is that the brain increases its capacity and it becomes more efficient. So in other words, doing nothing really helps. Now, without having the neuroscience, this is why we all know that being in the shower or going for a jog or just daydreaming, looking out the window, a blank mind, that's when we get to know what's what and get the feeling of peace. That's where the O lies that I mentioned. So there's some science backing all that up in that particular book. And as I mentioned earlier, we can trust that the system rights itself. In other words, although we suffer the blows that we get through external life, going inside is where the healing is. That's where the healing is allowed. And there's a little metaphor here. It's a little bit like driving our car through a muddy area, a muddy, shallow lake with being splashed and everything. That in life, to get clarity, when this needs to be clear, like the windscreen of the car needs to be cleared of the mud. But the reason I give this metaphor is that we often clean the car to make the car look good because we want to look good. That's ego, that's our conditioning. When in actual fact, all that is really needed for clarity is to see what's really there. So I mentioned earlier that we don't do our conditioning, and because of that, we should not judge the experience so harshly. And we do that because we have a thought about ourselves not being, up to being in this world. And we don't like that. But that is not really us. So when we don't judge that because of that fact, then we get the freedom. Then we are out of jail, as it were. So, again, as I've said, those blows, because we're human, are there, but they can heal very quickly or feel like imaginary in a way. because of the fact is that we are divine, and that has the answers. That shows us the way. In other words, that makes the day for us. So we may fail, but we always know how to succeed because of our divinity. So life is easier because can be easier because we don't have to constantly defend ourselves. Our feelings because of our thoughts will come and go, good and bad. Observe them. Be curious. They are phantoms in many ways. We no need to suffer. We no need to suffer them. Always trying to work things out as to, in the way of, oh, that shouldn't have happened. This should have happened. Trying to use our textbook brain to sort things out doesn't give us answers. Not as good as Source can, our mind, consciousness and thought. Another metaphor for all this is giving an example of what I mean by intellect or learning versus being in life. Is many years ago, I was a lecturer and in management, and my friend John Dixon, he was a lecturer in management for supervisors, and just by coincidence we would lecture on the same evening in the next door rooms next door to each other in the college. And one time he rang me up and said, Vic, I cannot attend. I'm not well. You've got to take my class. And I said, well, I can't take the class. I can't be in two places at once. I'm with the managers. I can let the super. Have you told the boss you can't be there? Can the students be informed? So he says, no, it's too late, Vic. You've got to kind of help me out. You've got to help me. So I said, I can't. He said, you can. How? And what he said was, you run both classes. And I could not believe this, because I'd got my mind on basically the textbook way of how to manage, how managers should manage, and I was going to impart this knowledge to my students. And this was going to blow it up. But he told me what to do. And what he said was, you go into your class and say, hold on, I'm going to do it differently tonight because John's ill. I'm just going to pop next door to the supervisors because we're going to play a little game together. And I'll come back in a moment. So I went into the supervisor's class and said, I'm very sorry, but I'm here, unfortunately for you. John is ill. He sends his apologies, but we're going to. Basically, I'd given a remit the instructions as to what to do by John, and what John said was, look, and this shows my age and the times we were in. Margaret Thatcher had said, lame duck companies should be allowed to fail, and Norman Tebbit, who was a sidekick, had said, you should get on your bike and find a job. And so what I did was I said to the supervisors, this is what we're going to deal with tonight. What do you think about that? Because I'm going to ask the managers next door what they think about that, and I'm going to get a statement from, you're going to think about this and provide a statement that I will give to the managers, and then the managers will provide a statement which I'll give to you. Well, what ensued was the best learning of management that I ever had, because the supervisors went potty and just says, lame ducks, we are not lame ducks. Companies, we can do better. Give us a chance. And you can't just get on your bike. I've got a family in this town. It's ridiculous. These managers say these things, but it's okay for them. And I went in and I said, right, so that's what I'm going to say to the managers. And then I went into the manager's room and I said, well, this is what the supervisors say. And the managers said, no, if the companies, they should pull the finger out and do better. Otherwise, there will be lame ducks. And those people who can't hack it should get on the bike and get another job. Well, as I've said, I learned both sides learned more about each other and about how to manage than they would have done by me giving them any textbook version of how to manage. So that's what I'm getting at here, hopefully, is that there is a thinking, logical time, kind of, what's the word, ABC approach to things which are abstract. And there is an experiential way coming from within where we know what to do because we know about life and how life is. And that we've always got because we are part of life, part of life's energy, part of life's intelligence, which runs through us. And we don't need the textbook on how to live. So basically what I'm saying is that everything we need is inside us. And what I've done is I've got some verse, some prose that I've written on this, which I'm going to read to you now, if that's okay. I hope so. And so I'll start now. Isn't it fishy the outside kills, submersion inside revives? Our template stamps this forgetting, remembering reveals oh. Here imaginary blows soften the heart, the respite and calm heal, all sponsored by source. So, failing is human, our divinity means we succeed. So those prose talk about the fact that referring everything to the outside world, our circumstances can really get us down if we let it. But going inside basically brings us back to life because that's where the knowing is. That's where our source is. That's where the formless great lever to the world of form is. What we do at this level inside is where the insights come. We know what to do. And that's why I say remembering this reveals the O of what we've got inside of us. And because of that, any blows in life that we receive are always softened. They're softened by the heart, or they soften the heart. And that gives us respite and calm, and that's healing. All given to us by what we've got inside, what comes through us, the formless of source. And we do fail because we're human, but we're also divine, and therefore we always get it right. And that's why the title of the podcast is You Can't Get It Wrong, because we are built to get it right. So thank you. I'll go into relaxing. So I want to just kind of switch off all that thinking. Just relax, sit back, relax and enjoy. Just meditate, be in that state of no thought. The top of the head, the scalp, just let it soften. Going down loosening the cheeks, little muscles either side of the mouth, just relax. Down to a soft neck, so relaxing, going down to our relaxed shoulders, easy forearms, soft tummy, easy with our bottom on the chair, just soft, relaxing down through our thighs, down, relaxing through our calves, through our thighs, calves. Easy on our ankles, right down to our feet and our toes, so relaxed and easy. Just being content and relaxed in the fact that what we have is always self-writing for us. Any wrong is imagined by thinking the outside stuff is real, when what is true, the real truth, lies inside, always there, quietly to guide us. In this knowledge, we don't have to take stuff so seriously, because in doing so it just firms it up and makes it apparently real. It isn't. Leave our imagination for the symphonies. To ponder on the O of what we've got inside, always there, always our backstop, always our foundation which never changes, whereas the outside always does. The outside reveals its falseness through switching, through changing, altering the goalposts. Real life stems from source, from our inside. The beauty of that is always bestowed on us. We can rest in this foundation of peace and contentment. In this rest, we get clarity of mind. We know better what to do, because that inner compass always guides us as to what's best for us and others. So come back into the room. I hope that's been beneficial to you. Take care. I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.